All right, really fast lesson here on public policy. And people, hear policy and like, what is policy? I don't really understand what policy is. Well, that's why we're talking about it. And we'll talk about the impact of federalism on public policy really quick here. And then we'll have a couple examples in our next lesson on education and some terrorism and things like that. All right, so public policy is just simply identifying a problem and coming up with a solution for it. I mean, it's like making a law to fix something. So you have a problem. Maybe speeding is happening in a neighborhood, and that's causing safety issues. So you formulate a policy. You're going to put speed bumps in. You adopt the policy. And by passing money in order to or getting money to pay for the speed bumps. Then you implement it by hiring a company to come in and put in the speed bumps. And then later you evaluate and you talk to the community and say, hey, how did the speed bumps work? Did it slow down and make the neighborhood safer? That's policy. It's that simple. Or speed, your speed limit could be changed. All of those things are just called policy. It's just taking a problem and coming up with a solution. It's what public officials are supposed to do. All right, so it's the way public policy is, write this down, this is your definition. It's the way government maintains order and addresses the needs of the citizens. So public policy is addressing the needs of the citizen in order to keep order. All right, there's this tension always in government about we need to keep order, so that way we're safe, but at the same time, we need freedom. We have to have liberty. So what's more important, liberty, freedom, or order? And there's always a tension between the two, and public policy addresses that tension. So you address things. What's public policy? Things on crime, healthcare, education. All of those things are important public policy that we debate. And of course, the different political parties have different solutions. The Democrats tend to have much more government involvement in the solutions, especially in healthcare and education. And Republicans tend to be more hands off, more market solutions when it comes to those things. All right. And next thing. So, all right, if you need to pause it here and then and finish it, that's great. But we're going to go on to the next card. All right. This card is like the longest question of anything that ever goes in the front of one of these cards ever. And I take this right from AP. It just wasn't a great way to like actually make it shorter. So I apologize. But how does federalism, separation of powers, and checks and balances impact policymaking? It's, again, a direct question from AP, and I couldn't come up with a good way to abbreviate it. So it is what it is. Hey. But it is an important question. It is a really important question. And it shows you how federalism gives us so many options in terms of how if we see a problem we want it fixed, we don't have just one place to go. We got lots of places to go. That's how this impacts us. So it's actually kind of a cool question and an important question. All right, flip over. So stakeholders, you may have heard that phrase before, stakeholders. It just means people who have interests in something happening. All right, just people who are interested, people who are in need or the policy might impact. They have multiple access points to influence policymaking. Stakeholders, people who have some sort of interest in an issue, have multiple access points to influence policymaking. So you and I could get a group together and we could go influence policy where we'd be stakeholders, and we could change education policy, we could change crime policy, we could change some sort of policy, and we have lots of points to do that. Let me give examples. The examples is that we could lobby, basically meaning petition. You go and you talk to a representative or some public official, and we could talk to our federal representative. We could talk to our senator at the state or local level. I mean, state or federal level. We could write letters to the president. Probably can't talk to the president, but you could certainly write to the president and try to influence them. And then you have all the office holders at the state and the local level. So you have the local government, you have the state government, you have the federal government. You could try to influence each or one, depending on what the issue is. So this is really powerful because now, because of federalism, we don't just have one government to try to get something to change. We have lots of levels to try to influence. And successful political movements often start realizing that they can affect change at the local level. That's easier to do. And then they try to move on to the state level. And then maybe eventually it goes to the federal level, but that might be hard because, as Madison said, there are lots of factions in a larger public, and you might not be able to, your idea may just be popular in one city or one state and is not popular in the country. And so that's just the way federalism works. So the idea is here, federalism is allows lots of access points so we can influence policy and we can change our communities. All right, guys, thanks. Short lesson, told you.